I'm not gonna lie, the U20 World Cup hype has been building up for what feels like forever, but today's chapter finally makes it all feel real. We've got training, infighting, and a surprise twist that nobody saw coming. What's going on, everyone? I'm Animasu, of course, and today we'll be breaking down the officials for Blue Lock chapter 311, titled Side B. If you want to support the channel or just stay up to date with all things Blue Lock, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below with what video ideas you'd like to see next. I hope you enjoy the chapter, and don't forget to join the Discord linked below to hang out and talk with the rest of the community. Today's chapter officially opens with some intro text that states, "The egoists are making their final adjustments for the first match and sharpening their egos for victory," with an outside view of the Blue Lock facility and narration telling us that one day remains until the U20 World Cup. It seems like there's been another small leap forward in time. Do you guys think we'll be seeing consistent time skips like this throughout the U20 World Cup arc? After all, there should be around 10 to 12 days between each match, so it would kinda make sense if they want to keep the pacing tight. We then cut inside the facility and finally get a glimpse of the training, just like I said I was hoping for last week. Raichi is seen sprinting up for a counterattack as Yukimiya and Nanase drop back to help with their team's defensive numbers. Ego, meanwhile, is shown watching closely while leaning against the wall, his eyes dilating as Yoichi follows through with a cross. With some phenomenal off-the-ball movement, it looks like isagi yoichi managed to completely cook the defense before volleying Hiyori's cross into the top right net past Fukaku-gen. Nico and Ryu are left trailing behind him as we see him score, unable to stop either the run or the delivery. And I'm not gonna lie, Nico, you're looking a little small, my guy. I thought Ego had this man on some kind of workout regimen with a protein powder kit, and I'm not sure what happened. Chigure and Batsura are seen celebrating Isagi's goal as well, since they're apparently on the same white training team alongside him. Everyone on Team White's hyped up, except for the guy who actually scored. Isagi's hunched over, catching his breath, but still manages to tell them all to calm it down. Looking up at Hiyori with that intense stare, he tells them that the cross was still one beat too late for his liking. Reaching out a hand to help him up, Isagi goes on to say that on a world's top stage, that delay would have gotten the ball blocked if he doesn't send it earlier next time. Like bro, this man just went 4-0 in the new Egoist League, won the Ubers match thanks to Hiyori, and still can't just say, thank you, I don't know. Hiyori of course says that he gets it, but also reminds Isagi that he can't just magically become world class overnight. This is just practice anyway before the actual U20 World Cup matches, and he wouldn't want to overexert himself. Even Karasu chimes in and says that Isagi is asking for too much. But listen, me personally, if I chirped at someone and they looked back at me like this, I'm just gonna apologize and keep it stepping. What did this man Yoichi see overseas? Like damn. Isagi goes on to firmly tell Karasu to cut that lukewarm talk out, because their goal is to win it all. There's nothing wrong with him encouraging Hiyori to step it up a notch and pushing the vision of the world's best onto him. Even Hiyori winks at him and says that he is right about that. And let's be real, Hiyori pushed the exact same expectations onto Isagi before, even threatening to drop him if he didn't keep up, so Isagi is actually being pretty fair here. Plus the guy just got back from visiting the best football countries and matches on earth, so if anyone knows ball right now, it's him. Karasu tries to white knight for some Reddit karma and tells Isagi that he could have put it a little softer, but Isagi immediately replies and tells him that he was just giving his opinion and didn't mean to come off harsh. Karasu fires right back and says that if that were really the case, then he shouldn't have called him lukewarm and calls Isagi a dumbass for even thinking Hiyori would slack off. I guess the dumbass remark finally cracked his composure because Isagi immediately clenched his fist and started storming over towards Karasu with an angry expression. The crow himself actually looks kind of scared here for being honest, meanwhile Yoichi is laughing because at the end of the day, they're fighting over a comment that was directed at him and even he didn't care. Luckily the Chad, the goat, the ladies man himself, Oliver Aiku steps in to save the day by shoving the two apart. He tells them to keep that fire burning, but not to let it explode onto their teammates since they need to stay cool when communicating. The two of them immediately act like they just got scolded by their dad, pulling funny faces while apologizing for the outburst. But of course, Itoshi has to rage bait a man while he's already down. He tells Isagi that he's doing too much and thinks that everything will just go his way because he sees himself as the center of the team. Isagi just side-eyes the hell out of him, but the kid continues on with his ironic rant. Rain tries to act all tough by telling Isagi to save that attitude for when he's completely beaten him, but he kinda ruins the whole moment by glazing Isagi in the same sentence, calling him a wannabe Demon King. Like my brother, I hate to break the news, but you're literally the one who dubbed him the Demon King of Blue Lock after he dunked on your entire team, but I guess we're not gonna talk about that anymore, huh? Anyways, to cut the tension, Batatsuda randomly barges into the training camp and immediately apologizes for the sudden intrusion. He tries to play it casual, waving hello and all that, but immediately slips up by calling them his cash-making teens, which is absolutely diabolical. This guy must be thinking he's running a Temu factory or something. Everybody immediately side-eyes the Burger King as he makes his way into the facility, with Batsura just openly calling him the money-grubbing chairman. And Zanzetsu, God bless his soul, covers his mouth while yelling to warn Batsura like that's somehow gonna mask the sound. Ego just nods nonchalantly to flex the jawline, then asking Batsura what the hell he's doing here, especially considering he explicitly told him, do not pull up. Batsura waves it off dismissively and says that he is not here to interfere with football at all, just to have a nice, friendly greeting with Blue Lock. But grinning the whole time and speaking extra loud, he adds that he also wants to tell the players about the promise he and Ego made, since it might boost their motivation and morale. But let's be real though, we all know this man's just trying to rage bait Ego and stir the pot for his own benefit. Spreading his arms wide in front of everyone, Batsura officially announces that the U20 Japan roster doesn't actually have a maximum capacity of 23 players, but rather 26, and as the JFU chairman, he owns the last 3 slots. Wearing a wicked grin while the light casts shadow in his ugly ass face, and I mean really ugly face, he tells him straight up that Itoshi-sai already holds one of the slots, which is a big surprise to see them reveal this early. I honestly figured that they would save this to be some major shock to the Blue Lockers as he walked on in the finals, but I guess that if the audience knows, so should the players. The reveal immediately shocks everyone to their core. Gagamato and Nanase are shown freaking out from the overwhelming amount of information, and even Fukaku Gen looks confused. I'm really not sure how this concerns any of them, but the one person it definitely hits hard is Itoshi Sai's brother. With a blacked out box and wide eyes, this poor guy looks like all of his meditation and training just went to waste in an instant. Before we even got to see the full depth of his despair, Batsura croaks out that Sai will only be joining from the knockout stage onward based on his own wishes to play against Spain. But as for the other 2 spots, those will be decided elsewhere. While the Blue Lock players fight their way through the U20 group stage, something else will be brewing beneath it all. As he flips around the iPad, we see the logo for Blue Lock Japan's final 2 survival selection, Blue Lock Side B. I kid you not, this gritty ass bum literally just made Red Key canon to the story. What can I say, this is peak fiction. He goes on to say that he'll once again be gathering 300 young talents for the program, and they'll be streaming the entire thing in its heated battles on Blue Lock TV to pump up Japanese football, and of course, to make some extra bread. Atoya, Kiyoda-gen, and Batsura immediately hop on his case and start calling this out for what it really is, a ripoff of Ego's Blue Lock facility. But Batsura, totally unfazed and caught up in his own greedy delusions, goes on to reveal the members who will be joining. And let me just say, these do not look like elite ballers in any capacity. We're talking about a bunch of isekai NPCs, Chaozu from Dragon Ball, and holy shit, is that Kira? Yeah, for me this is one of the most painful reveals in all of Blue Lock, and it looks like Isagi feels the same way. Kira's been given a chance to come back and participate in this Side B program, and for me, all I can do is pray that Nagi eliminates him for the 2-time special. Spinning his iPad around while shouting out, Batsura continues by saying that the people who pass the selection will be announced about the same time as the knockout stage lineup is revealed. In other words, right when Itoshi-sai joins the team for the intense matchups, the other 2 wildcard players produced will be revealed to the world. With an intense aura in his eyes and blacked out text bubbles, Batsura demands that they make it to the knockout stage even if it kills them. And honestly, I do not like that foreshadowing for Chigure's fragile self, or anyone for that matter on the team. Hell, Itoshi-rin might even kill his own brother if he's allowed within 50 feet of him, so yeah, there's your open slot. This random truth bomb and those demands leave everyone looking shocked to their core. Meanwhile, Batsura just walks out like it's no big deal, telling them to make him even more money. I mean, just look at poor Nanase and Corona. They definitely do not deserve to be subjected to that bum stench or speeches. Isagi, however, copying his father and keeping it chill, casually just asks what will happen to Blue Lock now. Standing firm, Ego tells them not to worry about someone else's opinion. He explains the obvious fact that the chairman only cares about himself and making money, so since he has to put up with him in some capacity and this Blue Lock Side B, he'll just use that as another tool to make them stronger. Isagi then quotes the rule Ego told them about losing, that those who lose in the Blue Lock program are never allowed to play for the Japan national team. That is what Ego said, and that's what he stands on even now. If Kira or anyone else comes back, he straight up says that he will not use them. Ishido is shown eavesdropping because his boyfriend's name was mentioned. Ego explains that aside from Itoshi-sai, there is a 0% chance that any of the Batsura 3 being brought up could outperform the Egoist he made. That's a proud father right there. And at the end of the day, the decision to use these players is up to Ego, not Batsura. Isagi then ask if the people who made it naturally through the Batsura route selections will become part of Blue Lock. Ego confirms that they will, but tells them to just think of those players as interference for now. The only thing that matters in this moment is winning the U20 World Cup, or at the very least, making it out of the group stage. Ego then just decides to reveal it all today. With a ghostly aura wrapped around him, he says that if they don't win the U20 World Cup, he'll be exiled from Blue Lock himself. Everyone looks visibly concerned, even Baru and Aiku, but Ego goes on to explain that the situation isn't much different from theirs, and yet he still refuses to change his ways. As he looks intensely at at all of them for the weekly ego aura farming panel, he vows that until his ego burns out, he will put everything on the line to win the U20 World Cup. He will create the world's #1 striker, and above all else, he will never hand Blue Lock over to anyone. I think the statement shown next to Shido and Itoshi Rain are some pretty interesting foreshadowing ones, but we'll talk more about that in an upcoming video. As the scene pans out to above the Blue Lock facility with all the lights shining in the stadium, Isagi smiles wide while Ego goes on to announce the regulars for the first match against Nigeria. That will either happen off screen or in the next chapter, because for now, the scene shifts to fans of Blue Lock walking around inside of the stadium. People are wearing jerseys, buying concessions, taking pictures in front of their favorite players' banners, and we even see Isagi Yoichi's very first little fan with his parents finally having a jersey. Does this confirm that Isagi will be wearing the number 11 in the World Cup? Also, I know I always say that Blue Lock Japan is gonna lose the U20 World Cup, but I don't think I could handle seeing this little guy's reaction, so maybe I do have hope. With a pair of shoes shown at the bottom though, the final page of today's chapter shows Nagi Seishiro arriving at the Blue Lock facility alongside all the other fans. With just 2 hours remaining into the U20 World Cup, he's still wearing the same hoodie that he had on when he spoke to Igaguri a few days ago. There's determination in his eyes because while his friends and former teammates will be fighting in the group stage, he'll be fighting for a place back on the team through Blue Lock 2.0. With that closing out today's chapter, the outro text reads, "With the opening match just moments away, the true intention of the genius as he walks towards the arena is ... With that, chapter 312 is set to officially release on July 22nd with the title U20 World Cup. I think next week's chapter will give us some solid pregame hype for the Nigeria match, the announcement of the official starting lineup, and probably end right as kickoff begins. Nagi meanwhile will be stepping into his own Blue Lock gauntlet through side B, so his story will run parallel to the ongoing group stage. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below, especially about Kira's return and the upcoming match. That's gonna wrap up today's video, so huge thanks to anyone who stuck this far. If you want to stay updated on all things Blue Lock and support the channel, make sure you're subscribed and drop a comment down below because it really helps me out. And if you haven't, feel free to join the Discord linked in the description to chat with me and other fans of the series. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next video shortly.